Hi. Do you hear that? Sorry. This is Irish Wilkes here. This is day 5 of my vlog, daily vlog. Here comes Buford. Hey, Buford, did you hear those dogs? Did you hear those dogs? Now, if you didn't hear those dogs, then the beginning of then the beginning of this is going to be ridiculous, and I'll have to do it all over again. So, am I getting gray? Just stop it. Don't look up there. Anyway, I think I'll do a few vlogs today. This is in the bedroom. There's I don't know which way to go. I'm using a microphone now. So Sammy, I know you said something. I got to respond to your comment um, that you liked it. So I guess I'll be using this microphone. You know, the funny thing is I've had it for months and months and months. And for the longest time, I didn't know how to use it because it has like this little insert that goes in the bottom of your phone. And I didn't want to use my phone. And it was a C. And my phone is so old, it's kind of like my car. It was a C connector. And mine is I've got a 9, an iPhone 9 or SE. It's probably one of the oldest ones ever made. It still works though, so it is a problem because I'm running out of. There's only 64. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you hear that? I won't touch it anymore. Okay. Anyway, I had to get a connector, and I got a connector from Temu, and I was able to plug the back this little adapter it, to into the actual connection that goes in the back of your computer. Whatever, I made it work, and now I can use it. But it was forever. Timu saved the day, and it was very affordable. And I really am happy that I can use it now, and you can hear me, and you don't have to worry about adjusting the volume because my videos are too low. All right, so that is the beginning of this vlog. And I only started it because of those dogs out there. It was like a hound dog. Oh, woo woo. How does that go? Oh, okay. Anyway, so that was 2.5 minutes. How much more do I have to do? Just kidding. Um, so I have had a good day. I've been out. I got home around noon from church, a couple of services that I sing at, and then home. I'm cooking another from yesterday, that chuck roast cut of meat that I bought for $3.47 a pound. Um, it's in the crock pot with some turnips and some onions, and it's going to be a good base for my week's proteins. I didn't put any potatoes in because I'm cutting down on my carbs. There's no carrots in there. I have cauliflower in the freezer, and I'm going to steam that up or microwave it later, probably steam it. Um, but it's a frozen vegetable. You can still steam it. Either or. I'm just going to have cauliflower instead of. I might rice it. If you mash it down, then it's almost like a rice, and it will blend well with any flavoring. Any flavor added to it will bring out a good flavor because cauliflower doesn't have much of a taste. Now, I was watching a show earlier, and it was about the Amish, and they have 20 around that 20 different foods or techniques that are good for stockpiling food. One of them, as we all know, is honey. Honey lasts thousands of years. There is instances where honey has been preserved for many years, discovered, and it's still good. So if you have honey, and the reason why it does stay good for so long is because bacteria needs water. Honey doesn't have any water, but it does have sugar. So it has so little water, just lots of sugar, and has its own natural preservatives. So leave it warm and it gets, it's still going to be okay, but it gets all gooey. So it's best if you store it in a cool and dark place. Um, and I have some honey, but should we do that, do you think? Do you think it's a good idea to start stockpiling things that will last a great deal of time, like honey? I think that's a great idea. I have a little closet off the front hallway that I use to store things in, and I'm going to set up some shelves and store some of my longer lasting foodstuffs like honey. Also, fresh fruit, nature's candy, they call it. Um, Let the sun put fruit on. If you put fruit on a piece of wood or something like that, and you let the sun just shine on it, you can dry apples, apricots, pears, plums, peaches, berries. Um, they call them flavor bombs. Um, just dry it until it's like leather. Have you ever had dried fruit before? It lasts forever. It lasts, well, not forever, but for months. But it's very easy to do. All you do is let the sun get at it and just dry it out until there's no more moisture in it. And you can preserve it, save it for months and months. And it's good if you live in a cold climate and do it in the summertime, can it in a jar or in Mylar bags. And you can have those treats during the winter months when that kind of fruit isn't easily available or costs too much in the store. Another thing, of course, and we all know it, is salt. Salt, and it's also a natural preservative. It kills bacteria. Um, let's see. Oh, if you want to preserve meat, for every pound of meat, you need a half a cup of salt. Exactly, not too much, not more than that, not less than that. You can preserve from veggies like green beans to pork to meats, different meats, um, and salt never goes bad. Now we're talking about pure salt, um, which just pure sodium chloride, not table salt. Table salt contains other ingredients that will not work well in the preservation process. In fact, I think that we should all be buying, um, like that pink Himalayan salt. Oh, did I do it again? I hope not. I have to stop doing that. There's some salt that Doug and Stacy, living off the grid, recommend called Redmond's. I think it's out of Missouri. Well, that's where Doug and Stacy are. I'm not sure if that's where Redmond's salt is as well, but that's pure salt, and it's uh, healthier than Morton's. Morton's has been um, there's additives in that kind of salt, and it's not good for preserving. Another food that you can store and lasts very long time are beans. And I think everyone kind of knows some of these. I'm just going to go over these really quickly just to fill in this vlog time, and I'll come back later with some more content. Beans can last forever, and they're filled with protein. Store it in an airtight, cool, and dry place. And if you want if you're getting ready to eat them, you can add water to them overnight, and that just brings out a burst of flavor. What was that? A burst of flavor. Another thing, and we know this, I think you guys know this too, rice, white rice, not brown rice, brown rice. Excuse me. Oh, I did it again. Oh, I gotta get used to this. Hopefully this microphone, I might have to put it somewhere else because I have a tendency to flutter my hands. So at least we're noticing that, and we can, the first step is to admit, what is it? Powerlessness over my hands. They just flutter around. All right, back to rice, white rice. They call it the cockroach of all food, and that's not a bad thing because with cockroaches, you can't kill them. I mean, you can kill them, but you have to really kill them. You have to actually get out a gun, or you got to get a bat or something. Just kill them. But rice is like that. It's very durable, very durable. Well, when properly stored, good for about 25 years. So get your beans, your rice, your pure salt. What else? Get your honey. So those four things alone, you can just store that stuff in your cupboard. Put it in the back. Write down the date that you're storing it, and then you'll know. But for the most part, the ones I just mentioned, you probably won't have to worry about putting a date on there because they last so long. So, and rice, I can't even read my writing, man. Brown can spoil. Well, okay, so the next thing is sugar. Sugar is immortal. They used to actually barter with it back in the hundreds of years ago. Maybe not quite that long, maybe that long, and also, maybe hundreds of years ago. It preserves fruit, is a good thing. As long as it's dry, there's no expiration date for sugar. So store your sugar. Now, I think that storing I bought some Mylar bags from Temu, and they work really good. I haven't used them for long-term storage yet, but just general freezer storage, and then you can clean them out and use them again. But you can use Mylar bags. You can use airtight and the canning jars with that lid on it. Just Google the best way to seal things. So the glass, sometimes even Ziploc bags are okay. Oops, I did it again. It's easy to seal things up, but I like to do it the old-fashioned way. I've started to collect glass jars. Okay, so we said sugar. There's something called wheat berries. They look like little kernels, and they're found in, a little tidbit, little trivia. They were found in Egyptian pyramids, and they still were good enough to grow. So wheat berries last for thousands of years. And they contain fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals. You can grind it into flour. Store in a cool, dark, place, airtight containers. Don't get moisture in it or it will mold. So the key to storing things is to vacuum store them, vacuum pack them, vacuum seal them. You can't go wrong if you do that with all of these things. And it sounds like that's kind of what, everything is cool, dry place, airtight, good for decades. The wheat berries are good for decades. And you can make bread with it. And then here's another one that we all know about, apple cider vinegar. It's very good for preserving things. And the apple cider vinegar is also good for cleaning. Also, if you're feeling sick, take a little apple cider vinegar. You can use it for pickling. It's practically lasts forever because it's already a fermented material. The next item, tomatoes. Tomatoes contain a lot of vitamins. You can can them and they last indefinitely. And you can can them by slicing them up or just throwing them whole into a glass jar, canning. It's so weird. I don't know why. I almost touched the microphone, but I didn't. I don't know what I was going to say because I'm so self-conscious of this microphone. We'll go down a little further. So anyway, as far as the tomatoes, you can can them, throw sliced into a jar, or just throw the whole thing in, put it in a mason jar. They say to pick them at peak season, wash and prep, leave then whole or slice, store in a little, if you add a little lemon juice, that helps it. I don't think it's necessary. In this state, they can last, not in the state of Arizona, in this condition in the jarring. After you jar it, it lasts 3 to 5 years. That's a long time. Now the Amish, and these are all Amish tips, and they showed like this root cellar type thing, and there were jar after jar after jar of the beans, the rice, the sugar, tomatoes. They were canning soups, where you can just layer that jar with all the different ingredients. You might have like a vegetable and then a meat in there, and just as long as everything is airtight, apparently it lasts for a very long time. You don't need to refrigerate it, but as long as it's not hot. Another food stuff that you can stockpile is corn, ground corn. You can make cornmeal out of it. You can, it stores for decades. So these are many years. You can put them in glass jars, food buckets, plastic bags. So you can actually put those in plastic bags. You can use the cornmeal as a coating for your fried chicken. It's tasty, tastes great. Cornmeal mush for a breakfast food, muffins. You can stone grind them. So corn. The next item I have is protein fresh canned meat. I can't read what I wrote here. 3 to 5 canned meat in a jar. So you can store meat. It needs no freezer. It has to be fresh cut. So it has to be a fresh meat. And you can store it in jars / can it. It's good to cut it into perfect portions. And okay. So when you're storing these meats, before you actually store it, you slice it up in perfect portions in a jar, vacuum seal it, several of them in a pressure cooker. So you have to look this up to see what the process is. It turns the meat very tender, and you can take the jars out after it's done the pressure cooker thing, and you can store it for 3 to 5 years. So just a long time. And you're not, as long as it's in a cool, dry place, which here in Arizona, there are not a lot of cool, dry places without air conditioning. So you kind of almost have to have a temperature controlled dwelling. I mean, I'm thinking about under the ground. I wonder if we can make root cellars out here, probably. But I don't see myself doing that. The next item that I have is powdered milk. It lasts indefinitely. And just transfer it to an airtight container. Mylar is a good container to use. Cool, dark place above 70 degrees. And if you're getting ready, you can also mix it with cold water to liven it up. The next item is jerky, but you have to make it. So you can buy jerky for expensive amounts of money at Costco or whatever. I actually have some in my little container where I have some foodstuffs that I'm storing for emergencies, but it's expensive. You can always dry it yourself. Jerky lasts and lasts. You marinate it, the meat, and then vacuum seal it. But for making your own jerky, that would be a project that I do maybe at some point if I want to make it myself, because there's so many different ingredients that you can use in order to create different flavors for your meat when you're drying it, and then you can store it indefinitely. The next item I have is oats, which lasts 20 to 30 years. You can make oatmeal. Just put it in an airtight container. I think my sister's home. You could make cookies with oats, bread. You can feed your livestock if you're a farmer. It's got a lot of fiber, beta grouping, and protein. Oh, that's Jack. Did you hear that? Yeah, my sister's home. Jack's in the next room over. That's her dog. He really misses her. So don't mind that background noise. He's just happy that she's home. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay. How many more things do we have? Should I just, Okay, so I'm gonna speed this up because we're already 20 minutes in. Okay, so you can canned foods, canned fruit. Fruit should be syrup canned, so that would be another recipe. But you can store canned fruit for up to 5 years. You can also pickle veggies that last for years with vinegar, and the recipe is vinegar, salt, and spices. Add it to um, your vegetable that you'd like to pickle. Um, or you can pickle with the apple cider vinegar. Pickling preserve it. It actually preserves the foods, and that's why they last so long. Coconut oil is another thing that lasts for 2 to 5 years at least, and it's you've got many different uses for coconut oil. You can use it as a lotion. It's good for your skin, your cuticles. Um, you can you can even use it for a squeaky hinge on your door. So it's an oil agent. Um, Keep it in an airtight glass container and cool and dry. You can use it for cooking. So it's an oil. Another item are tea leaves. Storage in an airtight container away from other substances, because other substances might absorb into the tea leaves and degrade the tea. And you can store tea for an indefinite 2 to 5 years is the average. And there's so many different things that you can do with tea, so many different uses. There's so many different flavors. Another thing is canned soup, 3 to 5 years, and that's homemade soup, properly canned at room temperature. You can store it at room temperature. And the mixture for these soups, use your own bone broth, mix it with veggies, and then beans or meat. Beans and the meat are the protein containing substances. Layer it into glass jar or pressure cook, and then you pressure cook that too before you store it. Make sure that the jars are sterilized. And then spices. So that's the last item. You can, if you properly store your spices, it lasts for 4 years. Things like peppercorns, mustard seeds, cinnamon last a long period of time. So I hope you got some benefit out of this information. I know that a lot of it we already know about, but it's a good reminder on how to store food and items just in case of emergency. And I think when I'm going to be emptying my closet in the hallway, and then building this storage area in the back of it, because it's kind of a long closet. So you open the door and there's, to the right and the left, that's empty. So it's kind of an awkward closet because there's a lot of room, but the door is just a regular size door. So to the left, I think there's some shelves, and I'm going to start putting things like that on there. So anyway, so that's it for now. This is day 5. I might add to it later, but if not, I hope you're having a great Sunday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow or later. Love and hugs.